The following land description is in Old English. See how much you can understand. Arrest of twi further southward along Awerna, there a swar that minster stondeth over Alnastrem on Cronacombe, and swar and long air on their mare ditch Vladen beri yemera. On long there a ditch swar up on the edge, and swar through a thonna graf, be then Aldan Swin Hagan, that up on Lynch Duna. Swar long Duna, cumth there Lynch Gemera, and Hereford Tunas lan Yemero, together lieth at Wana Cumba. I can't believe how quickly autumn's coming upon us. It is, the leaves are yellowing and falling. They're way too early, probably about a month early in my estimate, but it's temperature and light and so on that triggers that. I mean, look at these willows. This willow here hardly got any leaf on it, and as we said last time, a willow is a withy is an indicator of a stream, and we have the Whitsun Brook. But that's not what we've come to see. I'm in Evesham, just to the west and north of Evesham. Eof's Homme. Eof's riverside enclosed meadow, and there's some interesting stuff. There's a load of charters for this area, which has been very pleasurable in the sense that I can cross-reference, make sure there's nobody's made a mistake in the last 1,000 years, and look at different spellings for the same things, and the estate. The ecclesiastical estate seems to have contracted, enlarged, and which gives us, as the boundary of the estate becomes a bit smaller, and usually for Saxon charters that makes it possible for us to see the inside of estates, the names of places within those estates. The apple scent is really beautiful. Here, fills your nose up. It's very nice. I think this is damsons along here. These beautiful little damson standards. I think it's a fatal mistake putting damsons next to a public footpath. I doubt if he had any left to crop. They over there on the hillside. So we've got damsons again along this ditch here, and then all of these rows going up the hillside, they're pears, and that is a classic West Country view. Got mistletoe there nestled in amongst the apples. So I've got this Saxon charter, and that's Sawyer number 1599. You can Google electronic Sawyer, and then in the search box that has S next to it, put 1599, and I'll take you through to it, and you can read it yourself and practice your Old English. It says a number of things, but because we are Hedge people on this channel, it describes something called a Swin Hagan. Now I'm in two minds about how to pronounce Hagan, because it is definitely not an as we use with hedge, but it does mean a hedged enclosure. It says a ha. That G is difficult. There's a number of ways the Anglo-Saxons pronounce G. Now later on in the Middle Ages, the word Hagan becomes hor and hay. you get sound change. But to go from, so it can't really be Hagan to come out as Hor, really. Well, it can and it can't. It's more likely to be a softer sound, so Hagan or Hagan, probably. But his meaning is, does have within it the meaning of hedge. And so I'm going to go, because it comes out as Hor later on, I'm going to call it, say, Hagan. Make myself sound like a Danish exchange student. And so that's Swine Hill over there. How can I prove that is the Swine Hagan? Well, we need to follow Anglo-Saxon charters are basically maps written in prose that say go from X to Y to Z. And a lot of the time, those places no longer exist. But we can use some data. We can translate it into modern English and see what we come up with. So we have, so it says go to Arrest of Twyford, and Twyford is over there, 3 miles over there. So we're in the right area. And it says on Long Awene, our good old fashioned Avon, and the Avon is between Twyford and Evesham. Then it goes, but does it go north or south? And that's the thing we need to work out. So it goes There swa that midstre stondeth over Alnastrem. I don't know, Alnastrem means all stream. I don't really know what it means in context. Minster is Minster. So we're probably talking about Evesham Abbey, probably. So we're going a bit closer to going in the right direction. And long air on the Merditch, and well, in a different charter that leads in the same from the south, but comes up here, which I'll probably go on to in another video, because there's some interesting stuff on that charter that's slightly different. But it says on the Merditch, Fladen Biri Yamera. Fladen Biri is Fladbury today. So yeah. So up to the boundary ditch of Fladbury. Along Thara ditch, swa up on that edge. Yeah, we're on an edge over here. I'd better send the drone up so you can see that. And swa through a thona grav. A grav is a grove, as woodland over there. To then Aldan Swin Hagan. So we come up to Swine Hill. So I think we can prove. And then it says after that up on Lynch Duna. And all of this area around here, and you'll see it on the signs and the roads, it's called the Lynches. So we're here, so we've proven. I don't know if anybody else has solved this charter. I presume Grundy has, but I don't have a copy of his Worcestershire stuff. But I've reverse engineered it, and so it gives us. So yes, this is where we are, Swine Hill. Now I know what you're thinking. Is the man going to date the hedge? The man might not be able to date the hedge if he can't get the drone near to it, which if it goes out of sight I won't be happy. So I do crash them, as you might already know. Let's set it up and have a look.
Unfortunately, these ornamentals here make it impossible to even fudge some sort of dating of this hedge. And anyway, I just can't see on this footage.
That's Swine Hill, so we're still on the ridge and we're heading north over there to have another have a look at something else just as interesting. This is Lynch Hill. I believe the whole of the ridge is Lynch Hill, not just because the charters say the village names. There's loads of them. There's not just Sheriff's Lynch. There's, oh no, get me your book out. There's Ab Lynch, Church Lynch, Atch Lynch, Sheriff's Lynch, Rouse Lynch, and I think there's one more which I've forgotten to write down. So it does tell us that the whole of, and they're spread out across this ridge. So it's telling us this village is called, this hill, this ridge is called Lynch. Now, why is it called Lynch? What does Lynch mean? Now, you've got a problem. I'm a local historian and I'm edging into the Midlands proper. And they speak funny up here. I find it very disturbing to be surrounded by such foreigners with their strange English. But my first thought, if it was just one village called Lynch, I'd say, well, it's the Saxon word clinch, which means ledge, which means a great big furrow which terraces the land. Now, it can be, they obviously mean it in the sense of the whole of this ridge being a great big massive terrace. If that's what the word is, the problem is the sound difference between Midlands English and Southern English. And how did Lynch become Lynch? Well, you got the same thing with well. The Southern English, the Anglo-Saxon English, the West Saxon English. Well is willa, and with a Y or an I. But as you get north of the Thames, it becomes well. So there may be a consistent vowel difference here for that sort of sound. This may be, it may be Lynch. I think it probably is. Well, it almost definitely is Lynch. I'm just illustrating a problem with Anglo-Saxon studies, is that there was more than one set of Saxons. Behind me are some willows, and they are right on top of a hill, and as I keep saying, willows represent water. Now there's a pond there. Now how can that possibly be? How can you have water on top of a hill? Well, you get ponds. You don't get many, but you get them. And it's one of the answers to the question, which gets often asked so often, is how did the hill forts, how did the Iron Age hill forts supply themselves with water? You often get a pond next to a hill fort. Now, I'm not saying you would particularly want to share it with animals. At a pinch, you could. It's not dew that fills it up; it's rain. But it's dry now. I'm sure there's water underneath in the earth. Otherwise, the willows would die. But it's probably, well, they may or may not. They won't be healthy. But you've still got other options like carrying it. Paul Whitewick on one of his videos shows us carrying water up and down a hill, and it might be unpleasant, but just get your servants to do it is my position. But anyway, yeah, willows and ponds, you do get them. Now the charter tells us to continue along the hill. It says Swa and long Duna, and Swa is becomes modern English so. On long is along, so along down Duna, and it says Kumpf dda Lynch Gemero and Hereford Tunes land Gemero together Layeth, and again I was in two minds about how to pronounce that. It's spelt Liggath. It comes to later on into modern English as lieth, something it lies in front of you. So how do you get from a hard G to what is basically a Y in modern English? So I chose the Liath. That together is together. So the land Gemera, the land marks, the land boundary of Lynch, the villages of Lynch that way, and Hereford Tunes. Hereford Tunes, that's Hereford. Isn't that interesting how we don't pronounce it Hereford? That's interesting. So we've retained the Here, which means army. Hereford, and Hereford is not this Hereford, another Hereford, is the home of the British Army's most famous regiment, the SAS. So Hereford is telling us there is an army fort down the hill, and that became a tuna, which is basically an estate and then a village, and that became a land area which had a boundary, a land gemero. So where those two boundaries of Lynch and Hereford Tuna meet is where it tells us to go. Now, where is Hereford Tuna today? It is Harvington. And this is another example how a modern place name can trick you into thinking it has a meaning that it doesn't. So it was originally in Old English Saxon times given the name Hereford, and that became Harving over the years, lost the ford, and suggested it's the people of Heref or something like that, and it's not true. So this is why we always have to go to the oldest document we can find to give us an impression about what it is they were talking about. So it's definitely here. It's Hereford Tuna is definitely Harvington, and the meeting of the land boundaries is just over here.